Greetings, fellow Triple Changers, Baltmatrix here, and today we are taking a look at Transformers Siege Voyager class Springer. This figure comes to me from the internet. I actually don't remember exactly where I bought it, but it is available, or at least available for pre-order, on Amazon, Big Bad Toy Store, The Chosen Prime, and a variety of other stores. It's even showing up on Target and Walmart for pre-order, and it is available for pre-order over at the Hasbro Pulse. So, this figure is your standard Voyager class figure, and it's got problems. It's got a lot of problems. So let's go ahead and get into it. I think the coloring of the figure is just fine, and it looks pretty good. The schmutz that's on the chest and the shoulders of the figure is a bit on the annoying side. Head sculpt is quite good. Definitely Generation 1 Springer. Works very well in my opinion. The overall aesthetic of the figure is good. I'm not gonna, I can't actually deny that. I can't say it's bad. I think it actually works pretty well. The coloring works. The grays, the blues, the tan, the green, all work incredibly well, and this definitely does feel like a Springer figure. Where the figure literally falls down are the ankles, because the ankles do not want to stay level. He does possess some ankle tilt, but he also possesses ankle tilt forward and back, and these screws, or I should say these swivels, are far too loose. So much so, in fact, that if it's just off balance just a little bit, he falls flat on his back. And there's nothing I've been able to do to tighten up this stuff. Now, that being said, I haven't tried anything either. I haven't put any super glue into this joint to try and stiffen it up yet. I will do that and follow up and let you folks know. Another issue I have is the chest has a tendency to unpeg itself down here by his belly, and then that causes the shoulders to unpeg. And then you're left fighting the figure, trying to keep him pegged together. Now, other folks who have this figure might not have that issue. That just seems to be an issue with mine, I guess. The figure comes with several accessories, the first two of which are these guns that combine together and that can be held in or stored in all modes with no problem. Then it comes to the propeller, which is 3 pieces. This spinning piece, which, as you can see, spins freely. And then these 2 pieces that form the blades also form swords, and they can be held in robot mode with no issue whatsoever. What is a bit of an issue is the way they're stored in robot mode. The blades can fit on his back on these pegs that stick off from the sides. And if you start moving the arms, well, you just hit them and they have a tendency to fall off. Also, these pegs are just a bit too small for the peg holes on the blades, as it just pops right off. So a lot of times I will store these on the back, I'll go to play with the figure, pick them up, and they fall right off. Size-wise, Springer is exactly the same size as every other Voyager, except Prime from the Studio Series line. He is the exact same size as Prime in this line, in the Siege line. Poseability is pretty good on the figure. Head is on a ball joint, can look up and down very little, but side to side is just perfectly fine. Shoulders can rotate on a swivel, but they do hit a point where they won't go any farther. Hinge for in and out movement. Upper arm swivel. Hinge for elbow movement that is over 90 degrees. Torso swivel. Swivel at the leg for forward and back movement. Can do a 180-degree split. Upper thigh swivel. Over 90-degree bend at the knee, but part of the transformation has you grabbing the leg and flipping it at the wheel axis, and you will have a tendency to bend that instead of the knee. And the aforementioned in and out movement of the ankle and the forward and back movement of the ankle for the transformation. I did forget that the figure has some wrist swivels, and it is possible to get him into a couple of pretty cool poses, but you do have to be very careful with those super loose ankles. Now, I want you all to realize I take zero joy in stating that Springer's robot mode is not much fun. There are things that are good about it, but the fact that the weapons don't hold on together well, the weapons are bent, all of them. I've had to bend them manually back into place, and the ankle issue is a problem. It's just really, really unfortunate for me, because I like Springer. I think he's a cool character, and come on, we don't have enough triple changers. Other than the city bots and these figures, what other triple changers are there? I think this figure can be improved. As I said, I am going to take a little bit of a super glue to these wiggly bits and see if that fixes it. And that will be a follow-up video, probably later in the week. Well, actually maybe a little bit longer because I actually have to buy super glue. Let's go ahead and get into the vehicle modes. For the transformation for Springer, we're going to start at the shoulders, come to the back of the shoulders, and fold out this panel, and then fold out the tiny little panel within, and then straighten out the arm and fold the arm up, and that little plug at the back will plug into the bottom of his fist. And just do that on the other side. Now that the arms are taken care of, come down to the, well, what would be his belly, grab the yellow and pull that away from the figure, thus freeing most of his torso. Turn the figure around, pull the arms out, and there's this little peg on either side, right where my finger is. What we want to do is grab the entire back of the figure and pull it away from those pegs so that we can fold the shoulders all the way down like this. Next, we can come up to the chest, fold this green section out, take these little green pieces and flip them out. And they have a tendency to fall off, so we'll put them back on later. With that folded out and the green piece folded out, pull the tummy out all the way, push the head down a little bit, turn the head 180 degrees, and while holding the head, fold the entire chest up over the head and sandwich it closed, and then it will peg into the area underneath the cockpit. And then we can replace the green piece that falls off way too easily. Now, leaving the entire body where it is, you'll see this hinge here. We want to leave that there. We don't want to move it yet. We'll move it for the other mode. Come down to the toes, fold the toes down. We can snap the legs together, and then coming back to the upper part of the vehicle mode, see this hinge right there? That is a very tight hinge. So we have to unpeg it, or unsnap it. You heard the snap there, hopefully. Fold it back, and then it'll snap into place in the back, like that, and we can fold it down. Or it is folded down now. Now we can take the legs that we snapped together and fold them up with those toes pointing straight, and those toes will tuck underneath the canopy and slide into that little area right there. I realize that's dark, but it'll slide in right underneath like that. Then we can take the rocket part, fold that back, and it will peg into place in the knees. Next, we take the arms, fold them up, and then with your thumb, push it forward like so that this little peg is pointing out, and that will peg into the forearm. And snap that into place. Do the same thing over the here. Push the, first make sure that the green piece is folded out, and it will pop off if you try to fold it again. Snap it back into place, and push this whole section up. Take your thumb, push it forward, and snap that into place. And here we have the rocket car mode. It's okay. The rocket car is just okay. It's not awful, it's not great, it's just okay. Now we can take the two guns and combine them like this, and then we can take the swords, and the swords will peg into the sides of the rear gun, like so. And we have the cannon that could go on top of the vehicle mode, like that. And it can look both ways. Now we could, if we wanted to, peg in the helicopter twirly bit. And that helicopter twirly bit can peg into the top here and go like this. And then you have a moving gun that spins both ways. Personally, I don't particularly care for that. I would love for there to be a place where you could store this a little bit better. Maybe you could do something like this. Maybe that would work a little bit better. That actually does look a little bit better. And then, but where are you going to put the swords? I mean, that just looks ridiculous. And of course, I forgot something. So you have to kind of untransform him a little bit, break his legs apart, and then reach inside and flip out these little spoilers. Because if you don't, then you lose the telltale spoilers on the back. And I'm not going to lie, not having the spoilers out really takes something away from it. The spoilers on the back really add a certain je ne sais quoi to the alt mode that was missing, obviously. It's an okay alt mode. I'm a little bit weirded out by it because of my whole physics thing, because that just is weird. But then again, how many times have we seen Springer's alt mode? I could think of that one scene from Transformers the movie, and then one other scene from the Five Faces of Darkness where he and RC transform and then just drive off screen, and it's from a top shot, like an isometric shot, and he transforms and he just drives off, and that's it. I honestly cannot remember any other times that he transformed on screen. And I've got to give the toy designers credit. This looks a lot better than the G1 version of the figure. That literally looks like a giant, just really stupid looking rocket car. Anywho, now that we're done with this car mode, let's look at the helicopter mode. Now, to transform the figure into the helicopter mode, we actually are going to start off at the car mode. And the only reason I'm doing this is because this is actually the way the directions say to do it. You start off at the car mode, and you go from there. So, start off with unpeg the front of the car mode, like so. And then come down to the arms, or what were the robot arms, unpeg them from the shoulder mounts, reach inside the forearm and flip out this little wing panel, and then take that entire wing panel and slide it forward or out away from the arm, turn it almost, well, pretty much 180 degrees, but I like to turn it a little bit more than that, drop the section back into place, and then fold it forward, and it will actually hit this little peg right here. That's why I turn it so that it's perpendicular. Now, it kind of sits oddly at an angle, but you can just kind of line it up and push it in just a smidge. It still turns, but it's a little bit better than before. Do the same thing on the other side. Now that we have that section done, we can take the arms and pull them away from the body, and that does require a little bit of force, just warning. Then come down to the rocket booster, unpeg it from the back, and then fold the legs all the way out and snap them into place. Grab the entire torso, and then we're going to unpeg it and fold it forward and snap it into place. Like that. All right. Next up, come to the legs. Unpeg them from each other. Fold them out, grab the hips, and fold the hips straight down, like that. And then take the lower legs at the thigh swivel, turn the legs 180 degrees, fold the feet out, and that will fold the panel out. Grab the wheels and fold them all the way down, like that. So we're effectively butterflying the legs a little bit. Do the same thing on the other side. And I have found that the screws that are holding the backs of the leg, or the upper legs or upper thighs, or no, the hips section together, should be pointed to the top of the vehicle mode. That's just something I think is going to work better. So then we grab the foot again, fold it out, grab the wheel again, fold it out, and then we can combine the legs together at the wheels. There are those little pegs right there. Just get them lined up. Snap them together. Take the tail fin, snap that together. Then come up and take the feet and fold them to the inside of those panels so they will sit over the hips, like so. And take them and fold them like that. Now, for the front of the vehicle mode. What you're supposed to do is fold it up and push the little blue piece underneath like that, and push it up again like we're doing the car mode. And make sure that this blue piece is next to the head, what looks like it's next to the head, and the little brown piece is pointing out so it can peg into place. The way the directions show it is that you actually peg the blue arm here, or the blue strut here, into the rest of the body, or the section here like you do in robot mode. And I want to show you what the differences are going to look like. So then you fold that and that'll peg in back there. So this is the differences. Okay, so it looks like the directions, I swear my directions show this is the way that it's supposed to look. That's not correct. It's supposed to look like this, where it's smushed up against it. I'm not sure which is the right way, in all honesty. I like this way better. But this way is what some of the pictures I've seen show it being, which is really weird. So I'm going to do it my way, but it is a little bit harder because you have to flex the green a little bit here to get it underneath, and we can get it slid up and pegged into place. So yeah, I'm not sure which is the correct way there. Then we come to the back, and the back has these two little pegs that are supposed to plug into the bottom of the feet. I found if you put your thumb here and then get everything lined up, they do get pegged in, but the pegging is, or the connection is very, very loose. So this just comes off. It does not peg in very tightly. And I've tried the legs all different ways. I've tried turning these hip components 180, or even tried turning them 90 degrees to see if get it a little bit more lift. It doesn't work. And I've also pegged this front piece in as far as it'll go. It just doesn't want to peg in very well. Okay, so the last thing to do is add us up some weapons. So we turn the blades, peg them in up top, and then we unplug the guns, and they can either sit on the top, or my preference is peg them in on the sides, like this. And then we have the helicopter mode, which, if you follow me on Twitter, this was a real pain in the butt to get done correctly, or what I think is done correctly. And it wasn't until two people told me that this top canopy section snaps. There's like a little bit that you have to push past until it snaps into place, and that made the world of difference. Also, the directions that this thing comes with are terrible. I'm convinced we have a what do you call it? Studio Series Jetfire situation where the US directions are bad, but then the Takara directions will be fine. Fundamentally, Springer is a flawed figure in all of his modes. He has the ankle or foot issue in robot mode, which I am going to try to fix with some super glue. His car mode is, well, it's just ugly. That's the biggest thing. And in helicopter mode, you've got this thing that just will not peg into place, no matter what I do. And if you know how to get this stupid thing to peg into place, let me know, because that would improve the figure a lot. Overall, I can't totally recommend this figure. There's just so much that I don't like about him. Looks-wise, in the jet mode, in the helicopter mode, it looks okay. In the car mode, it looks okay if it's a little bit weird, and the robot mode looks good. But in the functionality mode, all of them are just too problematic for me to recommend. And the directions are terrible. Hasbro, you have got to step up your game. These directions are just, they're ludicrous. And putting out a video where it's mistransformed in almost all the modes doesn't help. So folks, let me know what you think of this figure down in the comments. I'm sure some of you are going to be very upset with me for a variety of issues, and I'd love to hear your constructive criticism. Those being the key words, constructive criticism. Please be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons down below. Be sure to hit the bell so you know when a new video is released. As always, I am Baltmatrix. You can also follow me on Twitter over @Baltmatrix. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.